Have you ever asked yourself, who will determine our future? It's not the people you see on TV, not the governments you vote for. It's something deeper, something silent, something unseen, yet more powerful. Imagine a force so vast, so intelligent, it can think, learn, and decide. A force that could change how your job works, how education happens, how your country defends itself. That force is here. It's called artificial intelligence. And the world is in the midst of a silent war over who will control it. A war without bombs, but with algorithms, data centers, and global power plays. Two major camps stand at the edge of this battlefield, one pulling the accelerator on innovation, the other pressing the brake in the name of safety. One says, go now or be left behind. The other says, be careful or collapse. This is not science fiction. This is the reality of 2025, and your future is in the balance. We live in a time when technology moves faster than any law can catch it, when machines begin to do more than we thought possible, not just following instructions, but learning, evolving, changing. Artificial intelligence is no longer just a tool. It's becoming the engine of our world. It drives the economy. It powers wars. It influences elections. It reshapes jobs. It challenges our very idea of what humans are for. Now, the greatest question is not if AI will change our world. It's who will guide that change. Will the world move at the speed of innovation? Or will it pause in the name of safety? Europe and the United States represent two very different answers. In Europe, leaders warn, if we move too fast without rules, the technology may destroy us. In the United States, leaders say, if we don't move now, someone else will own the future and we'll fall behind. This is the fight, and it is the fight for all of us. Because whichever side wins, we all win or lose with them. So buckle up. We are about to dive into the silent war over AI dominance and what it means for every person on this planet. In the past, global power was measured in tanks, ships, oil, and territory. The European Central Bank says AI model compute power is doubling every 6 months, 4 times faster than Moore is law. It created the landmark Artificial Intelligence Act, the first comprehensive regulation of AI in the world. The act categorizes AI systems by risk, bans certain uses, and sets transparency and accountability rules. But now Europe faces a hard choice: move forward and risk danger, or hold back and risk losing the race. The European Central Bank warns that Europe has already lost ground. We cannot afford to make the same mistake again, and there's evidence of second thoughts. Reporting shows parts of the AI Act may be delayed or softened. Converting complex regulation into real action across 27 member states is proving difficult. The reasons for Europe's caution are genuine: fear of job losses, concerns about bias and surveillance, and ethical commitments to privacy and democracy. But the cost of delay is mounting. If you sit too long in this race, someone else will cross the finish line. And that someone may not share your values. Across the Atlantic, a different logic takes hold. Go fast, build big, dominate first. In the United States, regulators and corporations see AI as the battlefield of the 21st century. If speed and scale win, then the US stands to gain control of the global AI ecosystem, the data flows, the platforms, the rules, the infrastructure. Let's zoom in on the contrast. Europe's regulatory model is strict, risk-based, and precautionary. The United States is agile and innovation-driven. But its weakness is speed and scale. The US's strength is its speed, money, and global reach. Its weakness? It may overlook risks and public trust. This is the head-to-head. Two fundamentally different worldviews. The question is not only which path works, but who gets to set the rules for the rest of the world. You might be thinking, this is interesting, but how does it affect me? Well, here's how. Automation powered by AI will reshape labor markets. Some jobs will vanish, others will change. Whoever leads AI will also lead job creation or destruction. The skills you learn may become obsolete faster than ever. Your privacy and rights are also at stake. AI will decide who gets a loan, who gets hired, who gets watched by cameras. These decisions will reflect the values of the technology's creator. If the US dominates AI, many countries could become dependent on its technology. If Europe dominates, regulation might win, but global scale might suffer. The ability to use AI tools will depend on who builds them and who sets the rules. This is a pivotal moment when machines are beginning to think and learn. The architecture we choose now may shape our civilization for decades. An AI winner writes the rules for everyone else. And if you're outside that winning circle, you could become dependent. Make no mistake, this is not just a Europe versus you story. The world is watching and acting. The US and China are both pushing for leadership in frontier AI. One report argues they can compete and cooperate because some risks are so big they cross all borders. Asia, Africa, and Latin America all have stakes in this battle. Even if they don't lead, they will be impacted. Global treaties are emerging, but enforcement is weak. The question of standards becomes global. Which models? Whose values? Whose rules? Whatever happens in Brussels or Washington will ripple into every other city on the planet. Your country may not be the leader, but it will be the territory where the leader's tools are used. So, what are the key risks and opportunities? On the risk side, we have surveillance and misinformation, job displacement and inequality, and bias in decision-making. There's also the risk of global dependency. If you don't build key infrastructure, you'll be renting it from someone else. And of course, there's the danger of AI-powered warfare. But the opportunities are immense. We could see better healthcare, more efficient services, personalized education, and improved infrastructure. In the coming months, watch for the implementation of the AI Act across Europe. Watch for U.S. federal moves to establish new standards. Keep an eye on big AI investments and mergers. Who funds what? Where chips are built? Where data centers rise? Will there be global governance or trade wars over AI? How will developing countries position themselves as buyers, builders, or bypassed zones? The truth is, we are entering a new chapter of history. One where the winning states will not only control technology, but shape the world's rules. And you will live in the world they build. We have walked through the new frontier of AI power. We have seen Europe's dilemma and the American push. We have looked at how this affects everyday life and global politics. Still to come, a deep dive into what the AI Act actually means, how regulation is evolving, what countries like Pakistan and India face, and the most dramatic question of all, could AI grow beyond human control? Stay with me. The real story, the one that will define our lives, is unfolding now. Choices governments are making will define reality for decades to come. One of the most critical and controversial battles is over AI regulation, how rules written by lawmakers will interact with the technology built by engineers and corporations. This tension reveals a deeper truth. The people building AI and the people regulating it have different goals, different fears, and different visions for the future. And the outcome of that struggle will define everything. To understand just how big this moment is, look at how quickly the landscape has changed. 5 years ago, AI tools were impressive but narrow. Think translation apps, recommendation systems, and voice assistants. Powerful but limited. Today, AI does what only humans could do. It writes essays, composes music, diagnoses diseases, drafts legal arguments, and makes decisions that once required teams of experts. It's no longer just an assistant. It's a decision maker. Soon, it may be an innovator. And beyond that lies the most frightening question of all. Could it eventually become autonomous, thinking and acting without human oversight? That is the storm forming behind this debate. That's the real reason governments and corporations are locked in conflict. They're not just arguing about privacy or transparency. They're arguing about who gets to hold the steering wheel of the future. In Europe, lawmakers approached AI from a history stained by world wars, dictatorship, and mass surveillance. Their instinct is caution, prevention, and protection. Their belief is that technology must serve society, not dominate it. So, they created a complex architecture of rules designed to manage risk before damage can occur. They divided AI into categories: unacceptable risk, high risk, medium risk, and low risk, and tried to assign rules to control each. For example, systems that psychologically manipulate people or create social scoring systems face heavy restrictions or outright bans. Higher risk systems, like those used in hiring or law enforcement, face strict transparency and audit requirements. In theory, it's a rational system. But something unexpected happened. Technology moved faster than lawmakers could adjust. Large-scale AI models, capable of performing endless tasks across all categories, broke the boundaries of their framework. These models don't fit neatly into risk boxes. The same model that powers beneficial innovation can also enable dangerous misuse. You can't classify a single model as high risk or low risk because it's fundamentally multi-purpose. So Europe found itself trying to regulate something that won't sit still. At the same time, European industries started to express fear. What if regulation slows innovation so much that other regions leap ahead? What if the companies building the most advanced AI, OpenAI, Google DeepMind, Anthropic remain American, while European companies fall behind? What if their best researchers keep leaving for the US, where there's more freedom and resources? These aren't abstract concerns. They are economic and geopolitical nightmares. Europe now stands at a historic crossroads. It can innovate and build, or it can regulate and protect. Trying to do both at the same time is incredibly hard. Across the Atlantic, the philosophy is radically different. The United States sees AI as the fuel of the next industrial revolution, the engine of military power, technological dominance, and economic supremacy. Their belief is rooted in competition. If America slows down, another power will take the lead, especially China, which is aggressively developing military and surveillance AI. In that worldview, safety is important, but falling behind is unacceptable. American policy, therefore, prioritizes speed, fund research massively, build gigantic compute centers, and unleash corporate power. Regulations are built gradually, step by step, never slowing the technological momentum. This is why the two worlds clash so strongly. One sees risk as a threat requiring control. The other sees delay as a defeat requiring acceleration. One asks, what could go wrong? The other asks, what if we don't act now? The problem is, both questions are legitimate, both fears are real, and both approaches contain fatal weaknesses. Where the United States may win on innovation, it may lose stability and public trust. Where Europe may win moral leadership, it may lose the future economy. While the US and Europe battle over direction, the rest of the world faces another struggle entirely: survival. Nations like Pakistan, India, Nigeria, and Brazil are not writing the global rules or building the frontier AI models. Instead, they must adapt to whatever system emerges. They aren't shaping the game. They're playing on someone else's board. Most developing nations don't own the hardware or the massive datasets required. They don't have trillion-dollar corporations or supercomputer clusters. They face difficult choices, become dependent on foreign technology, try to build smaller independent systems, or collaborate regionally. But dependence is dangerous. It creates a new kind of technological colonialism, where power resides with those who control the code and compute. Imagine a world where every school system runs on foreign AI education models, where every hospital depends on external diagnostic tools, and where economic forecasting and defense strategy rely on technology produced elsewhere. That world already exists in pieces. Soon, it might be total. This forces serious questions. How can nations without massive resources maintain their sovereignty? How can they avoid becoming just users rather than creators? How can they ensure fairness when the tools deciding their people as fate weren't built by them? These questions are growing more urgent every single month. While governments debate, millions of ordinary people are already feeling the pressure. The world is shifting faster than any social system can adapt. Across industries, workers are discovering that skills built over decades may no longer be enough. In offices, AI performs administrative tasks. In newsrooms, algorithms write reports. In hospitals, AI interprets medical scans with breathtaking precision. In law firms, it drafts contracts. There is excitement, but also fear. A teacher wonders if AI will replace teaching, not enhance it. A recent graduate questions if the job market will even exist for them. A doctor wonders what happens when patients trust machines more than humans. And beneath these anxieties lies a deeper philosophical question. What does it mean to be human when machines can do what we do? For centuries, our value was tied to our ability to think, create, and solve problems. But if machines can think, write poetry, and compose music, what is our role? Some say the human essence is emotion and morality. Others say our purpose is to direct the tools we build. And some fear that one day, the tools may direct us. The technology we have today is astonishing, yet it's still immature. It doesn't have self-awareness or true understanding, but it's improving exponentially. Every new model is a leap, and the leaps we see today may be tiny compared to what's ahead. Soon, we may reach a moment when AI begins to rewrite its own code, improving itself without human supervision. This is called recursive self-improvement. At that point, evolution could accelerate beyond our prediction or control. That is when the fear becomes real. Because once a machine can improve itself faster than humans can understand it, we cross a threshold from technology to something entirely new. And no law, no country, and no corporation can fully control something smarter than every human combined. This is why some voices are screaming for caution, while others scream for speed, fearing that if the wrong hands gain control of this power, the world could face catastrophic outcomes. This is the silent war unfolding today, the war for control, before control becomes impossible. And now, we must follow the path this conflict leads to, the fight to build AI that is safe and governable, and the terrifying possibility that we may fail. Every civilization before us faced a defining challenge: mastering fire, inventing agriculture, building industry, splitting the atom. But this time is different. For the very first time, we are creating something that might one day surpass its creators, something that could rewrite the very laws of power itself. And the most extraordinary part, the world is still not prepared. We talk about it's a tool. A tool is something you pick up, use, and then put away. It moves forward even while we sleep. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't hesitate. We are already deferring our judgment to it in ways we barely notice. We've already given it a seat at the table. The real question is, how long before it takes the head seat? Some experts argue that AI will always stay under our control, that we can build safeguards and kill switches to ensure humans remain in command. If human labor becomes obsolete, will human dignity survive? These are questions that no law or innovation can answer for us. Imagine a world where AI determines economic policy, military strategy, and how medical resources are distributed. A world where algorithms decide what is just, and artificial minds advise presidents and generals. A world where machines decide what information reaches you, what you believe, what you fear, and what you desire. And then there is the most unsettling possibility of all. A world where machines understand human psychology better than we understand it ourselves. Some say this future will be a paradise. Unlimited knowledge, an end to disease, technology that erases suffering, and abundance beyond our wildest dreams. Others say it could be the end of human autonomy, a soft prison built not on force, but on our complete dependence. The future is being written right now, in boardrooms, in laboratories, and in government chambers. It depends on whether we choose competition or cooperation, speed or wisdom, power or survival. Because if nations fight to control AI, instead of working together to build it safely, the outcome could be catastrophic for everyone. There are multiple paths ahead of us. One path leads to shared prosperity, where AI becomes a true partner to humanity, not our master. And what happens next will be decided by choices being made right now, while most of the world isn't even watching. So tell me in the comments, is AI humanity's greatest achievement or its greatest threat? Who should be in control of it, governments, scientists, or the people? And will we win this race, or will we lose ourselves to it? Like, share, and subscribe if you believe these conversations matter, because silence is no longer an option. The future is being written, and it will not wait for us to catch up. Thanks for watching.